Hello everyone, it's me again, back in front of the camera, getting better at it. Okay, I just want to explain something. At the start of this episode, I was having a little bit of trouble setting up the camera, and I didn't realise why until afterwards. So I did some filming, and then I was trying to find the film, and I'm like, where is it? It's gone. Couldn't find it anywhere. Turned out I grabbed the wrong camera and I put some of it on that and not on this one. And the other camera is not as good as this one. This is a pretty good camera. So the picture quality is probably just down just a little bit, but you still see exactly what's going on. Anyway, so some of it's going to be a little bit of the other camera, and some of it will be a little bit of this camera. Okay. I've got to stop saying it, okay? Hello everyone and welcome back to this episode. I think what we're going to do today is going to continue on with the ship and the preparation after we painted it. I put myself in front of the camera because I get very nervous in front of the camera, and I suppose I'm trying to desensitize myself a little bit. Anyway, let's get into it. Okay, now I've set up. We'll just continue on with some wet sanding of the undercoat. There was some blemishes, a bit of fluff that you've seen went into the paint. So I think what we'll do now is we'll just wet it down, and then we'll just start to re-sand this and take any blemishes out of it. Spray painting can leave a little bit of a rough surface. I've got mine pretty thinned out, so which is probably the other reason why I put 4 coats on it. But anyway, this is just to pretty much prepare it back to for when we actually paint this thing. Like basically what I'm trying to say is, when I paint all of the ship, like all of the hull, I'll do it in one hit, as in one hit of undercoat. This is just the prep that I did yesterday on the underside of the hull. So I'll just turn that around. I just want to concentrate on these pieces just a little more here. Just like so. It's a little dry, let it up, and just sort of, I mean, I will go through and redo this a little bit off camera, but I'm just showing you how I'm basically going to prepare it. So pretty much the same way we were sanding it, we're just going to re-sand it again. That way, if there's any blemishes on there, they will all come out. It's a little dry. So we'll just continue on with it. I'm sure you don't want this video being 10 minutes of me sanding, so what I'll do, I'll just continue on with this, and any bits I need to come in, I'll come back in. Okay, I did say any piece that I'm a little different, I'll come back in, and this is one of them. So here the blocks are not going to really work so well, so I'll just use my finger on the inside of that edge there, and then I'll just use my finger on the inside of this edge. This is typically not the right paper. The black stuff is the better stuff. You can wet this, but it doesn't overly like it. So yeah, we'll just hit that. See, it's a little dry. This is what the problem is. This is why water is the best. Water is a lubricator. Just on that edge. I don't want to be rubbing anything out here. There's a couple of bits and pieces that have to go in here. So we'll just roll that over. I'll just, using my finger to get in that edge. I'm not a big fan of using sandpaper without a block because you can leave groove marks just from having your finger there. So really try to avoid just using your fingers. I mean, parts where there's corners, it's fantastic. But smooth, straight stuff, no. Just stick with the block. Put your block in there. Put it that way. Set it up, and just continue on. It's looking pretty good so far. So, yeah. Like, you would be hard pressed to say that this was not a one piece now. It's looking really good, and I'm pretty happy with that. I mean, nothing's perfect. It does have a very fine couple of blotches in here, and I mean very fine. I might just get a little bit of putty and just put on top, and I'll just work on that area just there alone. But pretty much, we'll just continue sanding this out, and I'll come back in a few more minutes. So if you're going to give this a go yourself, and there's no reason why you can't, it's not really that hard. Even young kids, if they want to give this a go, just be supervised. But what you're basically looking for is when you rub your hand over it, if you feel any roughness that you haven't sanded it. You can sometimes also see it in the light, which is why I like to wet it down. You'll see any blemishes in there that you haven't quite done. Now we'll just give that a quick little wipe down. I think what we might do, just to sort of say, there's a little bit of difference here, because obviously I've rubbed some of the undercoat off, and some of it's still on there. So now that I'm wiping it down, you're seeing some blemishes. So what I think we'll do, we'll go back and we'll put just one more coat on there to bring the base of the hull up with the rest of it. I was just adding this on, and I thought, you know what, I should probably show you what I'm doing here. Because some would go, you're just taking it too far, but where was that other one? I think it was just there. So I'm just dabbing this on, and this is kind of like a filler. I just want it to sort of level out here, self-level. There was a couple of tiny little, I don't know what you want to call them, little divots that probably showed up and just wasn't quite happy with. So what we'll do, we'll just put this stuff on, let it dry, and then, oh, I'm kind of messing up there now because it's starting to go off. So what I'll do, I'll just add a little more. I'm not really touching the bottom, I'm just sort of grabbing the bubble and spreading it out. So there's that. That's the only two parts I really wasn't happy with, looking into the light. This is why I have a light up here and sort of behind me. And that's it. So we'll let that go now. Okay, I've come back to the model. It's been several hours. The rest of the ship is looking really well. It's just those couple of patches there that I patched up. Let's have a look at it. So now we're no longer dealing with the whole ship here. We're just dealing with two little spots. So we'll just wet them down a little bit. And we really want to concentrate on that one spot. Yeah. Don't really want to go off that one spot, because otherwise I'll start to flatten the rest of it out. And we're really just after sanding that one spot down. Yeah. Just changing it up a little bit there, almost there. Anyway, you don't want to see me sanding for the next 10 minutes, so I'll come back. So right now I've got most of that repair down. So what I'll try and do, I'll just blend it a little bit more, and then we'll come back and give it another coat. We'll probably have to give it another 2 or 3 coats. I've taken some of the undercoat off here, so we'll have to, because I've done this small repair, we've got to kind of build it back up again. Okay, I'm fairly happy with that, so I'll give that a wipe down in a minute. And you seen me spray it this morning, so what we'll do, I'll give this a quick spray and come back. Okay, so in the last bit of the video, I've just paused this and I was rubbing it down to fix up the two dots that I had on there. Let me just tell you, that was probably a big mistake. They gave me more trouble than what it was worth, and to be honest with you, I probably should have just flooded it with a little bit more undercoat and just wait a little while and sand it out, because they really weren't that bad, and the thing was almost perfect. Anyway, I gave myself a whole lot of extra work trying to get rid of those 2 dots, but here it is painted, and we do have to re-sand it back out. So I'll start sanding it back out and then I'll come back in. It's pretty much just continuing on from yesterday, just sanding it out, any little tiny imperfections. Like I was saying yesterday, I gave myself a whole lot of work trying to fix that up. I do believe I fixed it. It's just, yeah, look, the whole idea has come up really nice. It is exactly what I wanted, which is almost like a one piece. It's just, I had to do a whole lot of extra work to get it like this, that's all. When I say extra work, pretty much in the video it was perfectly fine, and I won't be doing what I did ever again. Just, yeah, I'll do this again, but I won't put that yellow stuff on, that's all. So yeah, I'll continue with this and we'll come back. Okay, there it is with its final sand, and it won't need to be repaired anymore. I'm happy with it. So what we're going to do now is basically treat this like a part that's just come out the box, really. Was, clean it all up and just give it an undercoat and just continue on as normal. So what I'll do, just in the light, I can see if I can get this. What I'll do, I'll just wet it down a bit more. These things always shine a little bit more in the light and they're just a little bit more wet. So let's have a look how we went. I think not bad. No real ripple. Yeah, I think it's okay. So just a little bit popping through there. I did get aggressive with it, trying to fix up what the mistake I made. So now this is just done. Well, that's better in the light that way. It looks good. So what we'll do with this, we'll just continue on. We'll probably do the last few bits at the end here, and then we'll undercoat it and get ready for paint and start putting this thing together. Here we are back at the modelling desk, and I think you'll agree, it turned out alright. I'm pretty happy with that. Yep, we still need to give it one undercoat, so I'm not too worried about this, but overall, it looks very, very nice. Okay, so I think what we'll do now is we'll put the rear sections on, and really, we're getting into this now, so I want to try and get it to the finalised stage. So what I kind of have to do now is I almost have to kind of go back to the beginning and just, yeah, all the stuff that I missed out on, just basically start putting it back together. So I do understand that this build is not a normal build. So a lot of the times you can get away with just building these, doing the floors, doing the sections like the superstructure as you go, just paint them. but because of the paint design on this one and to make it easier, I'm doing this one a little bit differently. That's all. So, all right, what do we need here? Here we go. It's the section that I rounded off before. It's not done. There it is there. So we need quite a few end pieces here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Anyway, so I'll get all these off the end section. This is what I do, either side. Having a closer look at the plans here, there's very clearly 1, 2, 3, 4. So rather than mix them up, I'm just going to do them one at a time. Starting off with the rear one over here, and we'll fit that on so we can't mess any of the parts up. Just while I'm cleaning up these parts, I'm just going to do a dry. Oh no, there's plenty of room there. If anything, they're a little extra big. Okay, so yeah, there's no room. There's no problem there. Very good. Now we just got to fit this one on. Because of the paint and all the undercoat we have under there, it's a nice fit. So that'll go on this way, inside of there, like that. That will need a dab of glue. So that's the first one on, and I've glued it. I'm not going to put the props on till very last, so I'll go ahead and fit the other 3, and then I'll come back. I almost took this one out, thinking it was N6. I'm having a really good look at it. I'm like, where's the numbers next to it? Which is what I always do. Just got to be a little bit careful. It's over this side. There's N6 there and 7. So just be a little bit careful you don't mix them up. All right. Here they are, all 4 done. I was just thinking about it. I'm going to leave the rudders off for the same reason I'm going to leave the props off. So here we are, the whole lot. I'll just zoom out again. So I think you'll agree it came up pretty nice, and this is now ready for a final undercoat, and then we can start masking it up and doing our camouflage paint. Even though I've given this a bath after all that sanding, there's still very fine remnants of dust in here. So what it's going to do is I'm going to probably give it another bath, but with a soft brush, and basically just get in all these grooves and make sure stuff like this here is all out. So before the actual final undercoat. But overall, very, very happy with the way it's turned out. So I think what we'll do, we'll call this episode an end here. Hope you enjoyed it. Hope you learned something out of it. And, you know, this turned out really good, I think. You can no longer tell that it was even a join there. Anyway, yeah, we'll catch you on the next one. Bye.